US President Donald J. Trump on Tuesday signed into law a bill that marks a significant shift in how Washington manages its unofficial relations with Taiwan. The legislation, known as the Taiwan Assurance Implementation Act, requires the US State Department to periodically review and update internal guidelines governing official interactions with Taipei, a development that many in Taiwan welcomed as a reaffirmation of shared values and which in Beijing triggered sharp protests and warnings. For decades, the United States has maintained a delicate balance in dealings with Taiwan, officially recognizing the government in Beijing under its long-standing One China policy, yet providing Taiwan with unofficial but substantial support. Since 1979, Washington has not had formal diplomatic relations with Taipei. Nonetheless, Taiwan has remained one of America's most important partners in the region. Internal U.S. guidelines have set limits on official contacts with Taiwanese officials, restrictions that in practice fluctuated in strength depending on the administration. This new law seeks to institutionalize and stabilize that relationship. Under the Act, the State Department must review its guidelines on US Taiwan engagement no less than once every 5 years, and after each review must submit an updated report to Congress within 90 days. Previously, the guidance had been subject only to a one-time review following an earlier law. Upon the law's enactment, Taipei's government responded with verbal gratitude and optimism about the future. Presidential Office spokesperson Karen Kuo said the legislation affirms the value of U.S. interaction with Taiwan, supports closer Taiwan-U.S. relations, and stands as a firm symbol of our shared values of democracy, freedom, and respect for human rights. Meanwhile, Taiwan's Foreign Minister Lin Chia-lung told reporters that more frequent reviews of the U.S. guidelines could, even if not guaranteed, open the door to deeper, more institutionalized engagement, possibly enabling Taiwanese officials to meet with U.S. federal agencies more routinely than before. From Taipei's perspective, this is a substantial win, a move from sporadic signals of support to a structured, recurring mechanism that embeds Taiwan-U.S. engagement in U.S. foreign policy architecture. Many in Taiwan view this as offering greater predictability, a buffer against the uncertainties accompanying changes in U.S. administrations. But in Beijing, the reaction was swift and severe. A spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Lin Jian, condemned the legislation, declaring that China firmly opposes any form of official contact between the United States and the Taiwan region of China. He warned Washington to stop all such interaction and cautioned against sending any wrong signals to Taiwan independent separatist forces. He added that the Indonesian Taiwan question is the core of China's core interests and the first red line that must not be crossed in China-U.S. relations. Beijing's stance stems from long-held claims over Taiwan's sovereignty. The Chinese government considers Taiwan a renegade province that ultimately must be reunified with the mainland by force if necessary. Beijing views any official US-Taiwan engagement as a direct challenge to those claims and as a threat to regional stability. The passage of this law signals a deeper institutional commitment from Washington to maintain and even expand its ties with Taipei, regardless of changing political winds in the White House. Many analysts suggest this change may help ensure continuity in US-Taiwan relations. By tying policy to statute, the arrangement becomes harder to reverse than if left to executive discretion. In practical terms, this could open the door to a range of unofficial but potentially influential forms of cooperation. US government officials, from diplomats to policy and defense specialists, may find fewer self-imposed barriers to meeting their Taiwanese counterparts. Exchanges in areas such as trade, technology, education, security cooperation, and even defense-related planning could become more routine. While the law does not mandate specific meetings or programs, the regularized review process provides an opportunity for evolving the nature of US-Taiwan engagement in line with changing regional dynamics. Taipei's leadership seems hopeful. Many see this as a moment to deepen cooperation in ways that reflect Taiwan's growing global role economically, technologically, and geopolitically. But the law also underscores the fragility of current cross-Strait status quo. Beijing's fury makes clear that China intends to treat any increased institutional contact between Washington and Taipei as hostile interference. The timing is especially sensitive. Just last month, the Chinese government reiterated through Defense Ministry warnings that it would crush any foreign interference over Taiwan, following Japan's recent moves that Beijing interprets as supportive of Taiwanese autonomy. Moreover, intelligence from Taiwan's security services, as recently reported, suggests the military headquarters in Beijing is expected to hold large-scale drills before the end of the year, possibly targeting the island. Taiwan's top intelligence official warned lawmakers that the island must stay alert, citing the presence of multiple fleet deployments near the Western Pacific and ongoing surveillance. For Taiwan's officials, the passage of the Taiwan Assurance Implementation Act is both symbolic and pragmatic. Symbolically, it represents strong U.S. affirmation of democratic values, human rights, and support for Taiwan's right to self-governance without formal recognition. Pragmatically, it offers a framework through which Taipei can engage the U.S., not just in fleeting moments, but in a steady, institutional manner, even as geopolitical tensions rise. Still, the law stops short of granting formal diplomatic recognition or security guarantees. Washington remains committed to the One China policy, officially recognizing the government in Beijing as the sole legal government of China while maintaining unofficial ties with Taipei. The new legislation does not alter that fundamental policy, but reshapes the practical boundaries of US Taiwan engagement. For Beijing, the law is likely to be seen not merely as a diplomatic irritant, but as a sign that Washington is eroding long-standing red lines. That may prompt China to respond with increased diplomatic pressure, economic coercion, or even escalated military activity, including more frequent patrols or exercises around Taiwan. Already, Chinese officials have warned foreign powers against interfering under the pretext of supporting Taiwan and stressed that Taiwan remains a core national interest. In Washington and among U.S. allies in the region, the legislation is broadly seen as a stabilizing move, one that reduces uncertainty around U.S. Taiwan policy and strengthens America's credibility as a steady partner in the Indo-Pacific. Supporters argue that this clarity could deter uncontrolled escalation by showing that U.S. engagement with Taiwan is systematic, not arbitrary, that it stems from law, not personality or convenience. Yet critics caution that the move could provoke China at an already volatile moment, potentially triggering retaliatory measures ranging from economic sanctions to military drills near the Taiwan Strait. In effect, institutionalizing such engagement may raise the stakes for cross-Strait interactions, even if it does not guarantee concrete security protections for Taiwan. For Taiwan, the choice is likely to embrace the opportunity. Government officials in Taipei seem prepared to leverage the new law to gradually expand engagement, pushing for more frequent institutional contact, deeper economic and technological cooperation with the US EAS, and perhaps even exploring avenues previously constrained by older guidelines. At the same time, they remain acutely aware of the dangers any move perceived by Beijing as too bold risks, prompting a backlash in multiple arenas, diplomatic, economic, or military. In the coming months and years, much will depend on how Washington, Taipei, and Beijing manage this new status quo. Whether the periodic reviews result in modest updates or substantive easing of engagement restrictions will be watched closely, not just by the governments directly involved, but by regional actors whose own security calculations may shift accordingly. What is clear is that with the Taiwan Assurance Implementation Act now law, the framework governing US-Taiwan relations has changed from ad hoc to institutional, from flexible to formalized. That shift may prove consequential for Taiwan's future, for US-China relations, and for the broader balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region.